How was the first week? You know, did you ever something I noticed since Monday, before the whole mask mandate thing fell off the table? I always got out of my car, I forgot the mask. Now that I don't need to wear the mask, I get out of the car, I never forget the mask. Human nature is a funny thing. Yeah, hang on. I just see something. I gotta go for it. Yeah, I'll talk to you later. Yeah, but can you follow me here for a second? Go ahead, folks. I just saw this. I just saw this right there outside the office. I don't think it's a tip, but that quarter could change somebody's life. We will give you an example a little bit later on in the program. Hey everybody, welcome to Season 3, Episode 12 of Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry, that's me. We are fueled by Gale's Gas Bars, and we thank them for doing that, as always. Also, Performance Heating and Air, Carlo and the gang, thanks for being here. I know it's a busy spring for you guys, so we appreciate you spending time with us. Also, Verge Insurance, Mark Shirk and the gang, appreciate your continued support of this program. We are slowly gliding our way down St. Paul Street on this beautiful spring day. I think we're up for about 11, 12 degrees now, to Fiddler's Poorhouse. Dave Mukparian and his staff, who are also gracious hosts for us here, as we are once again ensconced, is that a good word? Ensconced? I think so. In the beautiful window of 149 St. Paul Street at Fiddler's Poorhouse. So, we're going to come in and get set up. We have some interesting folks to talk to today, which we'll fill you in on. Perhaps the most interesting people we will have to talk to would be you, because this is your show. It is for Niagara, by Niagara, in Niagara, and all those other things. It is for everyone, including you, and you don't have to worry about being topic specific or anything like that. We'll fill you in more when we get this shindig underway for episode 12 of Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry right after this. Cheers. Hey, how you doing? We have a nice day. We had a lot of rain overnight. We had these weather warnings or watches and rain warnings and flood warnings. I think Air Canada, I think Environment Canada just tries to figure out, okay, who's gonna write our warning today, and what's it gonna be about? Oh, what a surprise! It's spring. It's going to rain. Wow, this is a momentous moment. Anyway, sorry for the sarcasm. It just happens.
Did you get any of the hail last night?
I had something noisy, but nothing to write home about.
Yeah, when that storm swept through, the front edge of it was hail. I had hail on my front porch.
Did you?
Yeah, and it was banging off the skylight.
I drove by your front porch the other day.
Thanks for stopping in.
Just to make sure it was okay. You know. Well, I didn't want to bother you.
Look at this, though, getting cold again, Lee.
I know.
Sunday 0, Monday -1.
As we were talking about in the office down the street with the staff there, I was wondering what people's week or weeks. I'm trying to make sure I got proper grammar going on here, because I do believe the media is the harbinger of proper communication. So if I do something grammatically incorrect, fix it. Okay, so the thing being, how was your first, well, it's almost a full week now of maxlessness? As of Monday, we no longer had to wear masks, so it's been like 4 days in now, and the first weekend of masklessness is coming up, and like I said in the office, Kevin, it feels almost strange not to wear one.
It does.
I feel like I'm doing something wrong.
Do you do a double check? Like, I still check for mine as
I
I'm
do.
walking from the car to the front door, and
I
then
do.
realize I don't need it anymore.
Yeah, but the thing is, like I said down there to Amish, I said it was like, why, when I needed it, did I forget it? And now that I don't need it, I don't forget it. There's something strange about that. I don't know. Human beings are wired very strangely. Any experiences from you? Are your kids still wearing masks at school? How's that going?
No, they're not.
No.
I know some parents are asking their children to do it. The one thing that I'm happy about all this, Lee, is that I think we're going to be more respectful of other people's insecurities. We're not going to look odd at somebody that's wearing a mask.
No.
Pre-pandemic, there were people that would do it to protect themselves.
Yeah.
They were few and far between, but you would kind of look at them, wonder what's going on, and now I think we understand a little more.
We've been hearing a lot of appeals from medical officers of health and politicians, et cetera, of, be kind, don't be upset if you run into somebody that's wearing a mask, et cetera. But I really don't think that's going to happen. I think all people wanted was to have their choice as to whether they did or whether they didn't. My wife still, if we go into a restaurant, which we did a couple of times over the last week, she wears the mask till she sits down. She's just still more comfortable with doing that, and nobody looks askance at it or anything. It just is what it is. So,
like, for example, my parents, they're in their 80s.
Yeah.
I imagine they'll still continue to wear masks in certain situations.
Sure.
To protect themselves.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
No. I'm just doing. Here we are. We're open and we're live here, and I'm just doing what any and all of you can do, by the way, is to share what you're watching, and there we are. And then we would appreciate that, because then we just have a wider reach and can send more people your message. And Kevin, while we're talking about that, something happened last week that I wanted, and we did not talk about this before the show. But during the show last week, there was a lady waiting to come on, and we were in the middle of a really busy section of the show and had one interview, one person waiting to talk to us while another person was already talking to us. And she clicked out because A, she was waiting for a bit, and B, it wasn't the right topic. Well, first of all, the waiting we apologize for. Sometimes we just get caught between things in the episode. But the thing that I wanted to make clear to everybody is that there is no specific topic that you have to be a part of, right? It's your thing. If we're in the middle of talking about something else and there's nobody else on the screen or whatever, say, hey, I would like to come on because this happened to me, or I would like to inform you about this business, or I would like to talk to you about this thing that happened to a friend of mine, or anything. Feel totally free and comfortable with changing the topic and maybe indulging the rest of Niagara in a conversation. So please feel free to do that. Absolutely.
And Lee, I'll just clarify, if people don't know how to do that, there's a Zoom link in the post. You just click that, it'll open up your Zoom application, and usually within 60 seconds we'll get you on the program.
Yeah.
And we encourage everybody to do it. We do have a scheduled guest coming up after 1 o'clock, but the next hour we're wide open.
We are wide open, and that guest is going to be a really interesting one for us, and I'm sure for you as well. You may have heard us talking the last couple of weeks about the fact that our main sponsor, Gale's Gas Bars, is a rainbow registered business in Niagara. We had not been aware. By we, I mean myself and Kevin of WeeStreem, executive producer of the show. We were unfamiliar with this topic and this designation, if you will. So, but Jessica Friesen, CEO of Gale's, told us about it, and we followed it up and thought it would be an interesting thing to shine some light on, which we're going to be doing today. Lauren Christie is going to be joining us. Lauren is in business development with the Canadian LGBT plus Chamber of Commerce, which is a new organization, relatively new. And we're going to be talking about becoming a rainbow registered business. What it is, why it is, and how that happens. So Lauren's going to be joining us a little bit after 1 o'clock today. Kevin, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Jack, if I have not properly introduced him, is on the right-hand side of your screen. He is the executive producer of this program, co-founder of WeeStreem with his partner Brandon Scram, Canada's premier live streaming service. And I don't say that lightly. It's very, very true. And I actually sent Kevin a YouTube video this week of one of the richest men in the world talking to two of the other pretty rich guys that do video podcast for a golf.com. I'll tell it, and it's about it was about the brand new Saudi Arabia backed, if you will, because of all the money, golf league that's going to be getting started to go against the PGA Tour. Now, this is not a golf story, trust me. But that's what the video was about. I was interested in the topic, so I was watching it. And then I called Kevin, and I said, Kevin, you guys do better work, higher quality, more consistency. Audio is better, the presentation more interesting than these people who are talking about multi-billion-dollar golf leagues around the world, and there's this stream on YouTube, this video podcast, if you will, and I'm thinking, I look at that, and then I look at this production that we do every week, and I gotta say, Kevin, tip of yonder hat, there it is. Look at the lighting on Greg. That's Greg Norman. I know Greg Norman. I like Greg Norman.
Greg Norman without a hat?
But without a hat, without sharkware.
That's his calling card.
I'm sorry. He's in front of a blue screen with a shot of an Australian bridge in the background. The other dudes, Cole Nost is the guy on the left, an ex-PGA golfer. Great big honking headsets. Great big honking thing. Anyway, and the content was good. Content was interesting. I make no bones about that. But the amount of money that is behind that video cast right there. Look at the lighting on Greg, then look at the lighting on me. Which looks better? I'm not talking whether obviously he's better looking than me, but that's not the point.
No, but look at
at the lighting.
His green screen is failing.
He's bleeding in and out of the screen.
He's losing his right arm there, Greg Norman. How you gonna golf?
Yeah.
No, but you're right. So that's
it's just an example of high quality versus less than acceptable quality. And for these guys on the left-hand side of your screen, they've got millions and millions of dollars to make their world happen. And we do it on a budget for you. So your event looks like our event instead of their event. Am I making sense here, Kevin?
Yeah, that's bad.
It is bad.
And we wonder too, in the business, we see so many people putting out terrible live streams and terrible video. So if you're a decision maker in a corporation and you've done stuff online and it's always failed you, just get in touch with us at WeeStream. I like to say, Lee, we make people shine online. And that's what we do. We can make you shine online.
Now, you're going to see on this hand right here, for example, if you're looking at your screen, you're going to see some bright sort of washed out color. Why? Because we are sitting in the resplendent natural light of a sunny Thursday afternoon. But as far as the set of it is concerned and the way the lighting is done for skin color and all the rest of it, these are little things that you don't think about when you're watching until you watch something that doesn't look good. And if you're doing an event, you want it to look good. So this WeeStream thing is, that's the place to go.
No, thanks for that, Lee.
Yeah.
And how about you? I know on the side you do a lot of voice work. You're doing a lot of audiobooks. I mean, audiobooks are just taking off, right? It's kind of running a parallel with podcasts.
Yeah, it's a huge piece of the marketplace. Amazon, Jeff Bezos, once again, just about buys everything that he has a chance to that has any sort of positive financial future at all. If he sees something good about it, he buys it. He owns almost the entire video or audiobook market. Like there's almost no audiobooks that are produced that do not go through Audible. And Audible is an arm of or a division of Amazon. It's crazy. Now, the thing that makes it competitive for people like me is I think there are only maybe 50, 60,000 voiceover artists on the planet that are competing for work. So it's not a slam dunk and it's not an easy buck, but that's what we do. And I just did some things for the U.S. Army a few weeks ago, some recruitment ads that they were putting together, and there's all kind. It runs the whole gamut of.
So you're going to be the voice of "Join us, we need you."
Well, kind of.
Yeah, all right, that's cool. And just so you know, we've done work for the Canadian military.
Yeah.
So there you go. People wonder, small little St. Catharines company, and yet the Canadian military looks to WeeStream for their secure live stream. So we're very happy when we partner with them.
It's a burgeoning world of opportunity in the entrepreneurial realm. If you have any skill, if you have a hobby, turn it into a business. It's pretty much. Do you see these posts? Frankly, I don't bother going on to see what they have to say because they bore me. But this guy says you don't need an Amazon account to make billions of dollars. I made $10 million in 3 months with my simple. I don't know whether they're telling the truth or not. I don't know. Kevin and I talk about every week. We talk about fact checking on Facebook. And there was one that was one that was really a dandy, and I don't know that we had planned on talking about it this early in the show. It just met the thread of the conversation. There's a video that is going around, and it is what are they pretending it is? They're pretending it is the China plane crash, that sad plane crash that happened this past week. 132 people were killed, no survivors. Well, somebody was throwing this video up on Facebook. Ostensibly, it was the video of the last moments of this terrible plane crash in China, and it was nothing of the sort. It was a flight simulator clip that somebody took and threw it up and said, "Here, Kevin, why would somebody be as mean-spirited to the families of these people by doing something as fake and as misleading as that?" It says a Boeing 737 just crashed in southern China. This is one of the last moments recorded of the plane, maybe the only moment. Viewers' discretion advised. That is nothing of the sort. That is a flight simulator clip. It's entirely CGI. That's criminal. And it happens all the time. So I just wanted to use that this week as just another example of please fact check everything. Don't just repost. Don't just resend or re-email or say, "Oh, this is horrible," or "This is terrific," or whatever it is, because chances are it's wrong. And to me, that's just reprehensible, Kevin.
And you wonder why people do it. You know what? There's billions of people in the world, and the internet is a very easy place to access.
Yeah.
And Lee, why do people do things? We were talking about that last week on the show when it came to some of the images that I saw down at Montebello Park, and I know you wanted to touch on that.
We do want to revisit that. When we did last week's show, Kevin had taken his family out to Montebello Park just for a day in the park, and came across some rather disturbing images, graffiti on some of the things in the park, some of the toys and attractions there. And this was one of them. This was a pretty sophisticated stick person drawing, he said sarcastically. And in each hand is a flag. On that flag is an insignia. Now, when we were doing this show, we referred to this insignia as what? What would you call this insignia, you watching this program even as we speak? If you said swastika, ding, 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 that's what we called it. Well, although we will defend anybody's right to have an opinion, some of the comments kind of made me giggle a little bit. There were a few people that said, well, it's not really a swastika. It was originally a thingamajig. I forget the name of it right now. And this was originally a sign of peace for the people of the day, and the Nazis took it and perverted it into something else. Well, this is absolute. Do your history research, they would tell us. Well, frankly, Kevin and I are pretty aware of world history, both of us. You were absolutely right about the origin of that design. But that being said, when you see that design in 2022, what do you think of? Do you think of that all warm, fuzzy place that it was meant to be all inclusive to all people and a sign of peace, goodwill toward men? No. It's the symbol as used by Nazi Germany and Adolf Hitler. That's what people see because that's what they intend when they put it. Nobody knows. The people that are doing these sophisticated graffiti designs, they only know it as one thing. So thank you, commenters, for trying to educate us. But in this case, it was not required.
Now, I haven't been back to see if maybe it's been washed off or painted over.
Oh, Kevin, I would hope the city. I mean, they take usually pretty quick action.
Absolutely.
When it comes to removing unpleasant comments from things, so I'm hoping they have.
Lee, I want to let you know that we encourage anybody to call in whenever they want, and somebody's done. An old friend of ours, local Louie, who's joining the program.
Hey, Louie, how are you, lad? Have we got you? I don't have your audio, bud. Demute.
There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you now.
Awesome. It was on a driving mode. It thinks I'm driving even though I'm in my room.
Well, you could do a lot of things in your room, and I'm not going to ask you about them.
Well, one of the things I'm doing in my room is watching you guys. What an amazing job you guys are doing with the show, how far you guys have come. I'm very proud of you guys. I want to let you guys know, keep doing what you're doing because Niagara loves it.
Well, it's nice of you to say that, and you are, of course, this is sounds like the Mutual Admiration Society, but you, of course, were one of the original cast members of Kevin's idea of Niagara Online, and you've helped us out along the way, which we appreciate. You got a new look going there, buddy.
I do. I don't have the man bun anymore.
Yeah.
I got the long hair now. I don't have the blonde. I don't have the blue.
Okay.
I'm going back to the old school.
Going back to your roots.
Louis. Yeah,
bring us up to date with what you're doing, Louis.
Well, the good thing is now that the restrictions have lifted, the masks are done, the world is starting to look like it's starting to get back to normal, Lee. And I'm trying to get out there. I'm trying to go do the live events and keep working on the local Louis stuff. So recently I've been to Local, which is in Niagara Falls on Main Street. That's where Gin plays every Thursday. And I got a chance to interview them. So I've been following up, keeping up with the local scene, the musicians, the entertainers, the comedians, and I've been following them and trying to make them get as much exposure as possible so we could put the people of Niagara on.
Awesome. And if we want to follow you, is it a Facebook page? Is it a YouTube channel? What do we do?
So the Facebook page would be mainly Niagara. And my personal page on Instagram is Local Louis, but I'm mostly on the mainly Niagara page these days. But I'm looking to launch more of my Local Louis stuff. We're going to see the interview with Jim in the coming months.
Jim,
and maybe
let people know who Jim is.
Jin. It's Jin.
Jin.
Jin the band. Yeah, Jin the band. They're going to take Niagara by storm. They're a really, really good group of musicians. 3 people. Miles, Nicole, and Joe, and they've been taking Niagara by storm. So they're actually playing a show at the warehouse on, I believe, Sunday. So
Kevin,
you
have
can
we
check them
ever
out on Sunday.
aired a musical video from them at the end of the show?
No, I don't think so. Today will be the day.
Can we do it today?
Yeah. I'll dig something up from the Gin archives. I've heard of them,
That's a
Louis.
great idea.
And probably because of your coverage.
They got a great video. It's called Get Back, Kev. So if you find a video, put on Get Back by Gin at the end of the show.
Cool, man.
All right, that's definitely what we will do if we find it. We're always, as you know, trying to promote Niagara stuff, and since you brought them up, it's a perfect fit if we're going to be able to use them to play us off the stage today.
Exactly. And if you guys need me, I'll go out there and we're going to do maybe some on the scene with local Louis again, like we did before the pandemic was hitting.
Okay, it's a date. Let us know what you want to do, and we'll work on those things.
Sounds good, guys. Thank you so much for having me back on the show.
Hey, anytime. You're a part of our DNA. That's great.
I'm just going to hop in here. Listen to this description of Gin. It's from their Facebook page. Gin is a 3-piece time machine freight train picking up influence from Southern blues.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I mean that's. Anyway, Gin coming up later on the program.
And where are they playing this weekend?
They're playing at the warehouse, I'm pretty sure, on Sunday, and they're going to try to do a monthly gig over at the warehouse, so you can catch them at least once a month at the warehouse.
All right, and I love you without the bun.
I'm going to be fully long pretty soon.
Oh, okay.
So it's in the awkward phase right now, but hopefully it's a little Johnny Depp-ish in the future.
All right, mate. Local Louis. Thanks, pal. Great of you to check
guys.
in. Take care.
Ciao.
You know, I can't even remember where I was, Kevin. I was with my wife somewhere, and I don't know whether it was a restaurant, a store. I really don't know. But there was a couple sitting at the bar, and male-female couple, and this fellow, very well groomed, good-looking guy. You know, the typical sort of beardish look going, and with this knob on the back of his head. Now, I realize I'm out of touch with popular culture to some degree. I mean, I acknowledge this. I have, and I can wrap my head around a lot of it. I just have never been able to grab on to the concept of man buns. I just can't. Long hair, I'm cool with. Man buns, I don't know. I just can't do it. Don't like it.
I think the interest in them is waning. They were popular there where Josh Donaldson was rocking it on third base for the Blue Jays. But that's
I know.
2015, 2016.
I mean, I don't mind if you let the hair down and go. I mean, I grew up in the 60s. I'm familiar with long hair. But the bun? Not a big fan.
Lee, we have Tatiana Sunak joining us now. She joined us a few weeks ago with some incredible insight into what's happening in Ukraine. I'll bring her on the show and let you take it from there.
That would be wonderful. Tatiana, thank you very much for coming back on and finding a slot to join us today. How are you this afternoon?
I'm good. Considering, again, I cannot say that I'm good as anybody who is Ukrainian can say that they're good right now. We are hoping for this war to be over. Did you realize it's been already months?
Yes, the 4 weeks that this has been happening, and there are dribs and drabs of information that are reaching our ears, and this is great because, as you know, when we're reading or hearing stories, it's not necessarily all of the accurate information we're getting. So since you and I had this conversation the last time, Tatiana, what have you learned? What is your current experience and the experiences of those you love over there today? What's going on?
There's still a lot of misinformation. There is, again, if you listen one side or another side, there is a lot of lies, and of course there is more lies on the Russian side, as probably we could expect, because that was what's been happening for years, and we just didn't know that. Now, also that issue that I see, that even some of the information that is reposted by people, Ukrainian people, are not always correct information. They trust that the original person that posted is correct, and they repost it without checking the sources. So again, I would just encourage people to check your sources and make sure that you read information from the trustworthy sources. But it's tragic there. Like, it's not getting any better. It's not getting any easier for people. It's sad to see that today I was talking to my vice principals at the Novopecherska school, and they're saying, well, we're getting used to it. Like, nobody should get used to the war. Nobody should get used to the fact that they cannot sleep at night, and they are woken up almost every night at 3-4 o'clock with the sirens, and it's impossible. It's tragic, and people are dying, kids are dying, schools are being destroyed. Again, I can tell you more about the school situation in Ukraine, because
Please do.
What I'm focusing on.
Please do.
So as of a couple days ago, there's 400 schools that are destroyed. Over 70 are completely gone. There's no even chance of rebuilding those schools. Most of the schools, regardless of the situation, started online teaching last Monday. And they offer, again, some schools have full classes, some have modified classes, modified schedule, but most of the schools started working online. And regardless how difficult it is, and I can tell you it's very difficult. When I visited some of the classes that our teachers were running, and it's so difficult to see. They're smiling, but you can see the pain, and you can see tears in their eyes. It's extremely difficult for them to conduct classes, but it's important for our students. It's important for our kids. And they do attend classes. And the first day we had, and I'm talking about Novopecherska school,
Yeah.
we had 81% attendance. Now it's 75, 76 every day. But the numbers are telling how important it is for our students.
One of the things I wanted to bring our viewers up to date with is the fact that when you were in Ukraine, you were a teacher, which is why you are close to the school system there. These schools that have been destroyed, have they been destroyed as being targets, or is it just indiscriminate blasting away that the Russians are doing?
Russians are trying to justify why they're destroying the schools, or why, for example, a couple of days ago they destroyed the brand new shopping mall in Kiev, because they think that there is something that is hidden there, and that's why they're destroying it. But most of the time, there is no reason to destroy apartment buildings. There is nothing that is being hidden there, and there's tons of apartment buildings that are being destroyed. In some schools, there was one theater destroyed that Ukrainians wrote on the top on the top of the building that there are kids there.
Right.
And they still destroyed it. So telling me that it's mistake, no, it's not mistake. I do not believe that it's mistake. I know it's intentional. They're trying to hurt where it hurts the most.
Right. They're just inflicting pain.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Can I go back a little bit in the conversation to when we were talking about what you can believe and what you cannot believe? Can you give us an example, Tatiana, of something that was out there for public knowledge that was absolutely not true? Because often, the reason I'm asking this question is often we have this conversation, don't believe everything you see, make sure you do your own research, etc. But it's often hard to know where to do that research and know what source of information to believe. Can you give us an example of some of the misinformation that we've been receiving?
Well, for example, like the good example, like the last example, that Russians bombed the shopping mall in Kiev, and they said that the reason why they bombed it because there was a military equipment, military machinery stored in a garage of the building, which is completely there is no proof for that. And if you heard president, Ukrainian president, he said that there was nothing stored there. So they just used it as an excuse. Same for maternity hospital. They said in Mariupol, they said that they bombed it because their army the soldiers were hiding there, which is again completely like made up. They made up the story to bomb it, and again a lot of like young, well, not, I don't know how many exactly. I know that one for sure, mom who was injured died, and again, it's sad. Like I cannot again going back to Ukrainian side, and I know I told you that there is some information that they use. There are some pictures that they use. Somebody posted on the internet. It looked realistic, and they reposted it. And Russian propaganda used, okay, well, see, they are lying and they're not being honest. So that's why I always say use reliable sources, and there are some Ukrainian websites that are very reliable and they're honest, and again, I would not trust anything that Russians are saying.
No. Well, the Russians seem to be reporting their perspective of this conflict pretty much for their own people. To try to convince their own people that they're involved in some sort of righteous movement. I don't think the rest of the world believes much of anything that Russia is saying at this moment in time. The status of, and I know that you're not with the military by any stretch of the imagination, but the status that we have received, that Western media has received, is the fact that Kyiv is holding on. The Russians are stalled a little bit there. Lviv was a problem. Mariupol has gone through some horrible devastation at the moment, and it seems, from what we hear, that your country is hanging on. They're giving the Russians more of a fight than even the Russians expected. That's kind of what we're getting. Is that how you understand it to be currently?
Yes, and I talked to, again, I have half of the teachers are still in Kiev, so again, they give me updates almost every day how things are going. And there is still bombing, but Russians did not manage to get into Kiev yet. They are on the outskirts of Kiev, but not in Kiev. And yes, they bombed some of the parts of the western part of Ukraine, Lviv area, Ternopil area. That is actually, again, like there is no reasons to bomb that. But I think what they're doing, they're just trying to show that if we want, we can. And again, it's more, I think, psychological also war, not just physical, but also psychological. But again, that's my opinion. And
well, that's all.
Again,
yeah.
there is no justification, but there is no justification for anything that they're doing. They're so brutal. They're so evil. I was talking to one of my teachers. She said she's in the western part of Ukraine right now. And the reason why I'm talking to all these teachers, because I was the principal of the school. So again, they still talking to me. They're still connecting with me. And she said that they're in west part of Ukraine, and they have nowhere to come back because the house that they just finished building is completely destroyed. And in addition to that, their neighbors who saw that Russians came in and used whatever was left over to do fire pits on their backyard. So why would you do something like this? It just like it breaks my heart to like even like simple things like this. It just completely just to make you feel as bad as possible and hurt you as much as possible.
We also hear about the number of people called refugees, if you will, of Ukraine that are leaving the country, predominantly first destination Poland. Is it your understanding that there are that many people attempting to leave the country?
Well, according to what I know, it's more than 4 million that left Ukraine already. I am in contact with one person in Warsaw right now. She's doing some offering psychological help to all the refugees. And there is almost 2 million again, don't quote me on that. This is what she said.
Yes.
Again, it's not official information, but she said what she knows, it's approximately 2 million right now.
Okay. How are you doing? Are you okay?
I'm okay. I'm trying to be busy. At this point, I'm trying to gather the army of educators to help Ukrainian students. And I'm staying busy. I'm helping doing what I can, and trying to support them as much as I can from here.
Again, it can only be an opinion, and you don't have a crystal ball, I know that, but it's a question that, I mean, it's just sitting there in the front of my mind is, how do you see this ending?
This is the question that I ask myself every day, and I honestly, I wish I had an answer, and I don't. I just hope that Putin will agree to have a meeting with Zelensky, and they can negotiate and they can sign an agreement. I want this war, as everybody else, to be over. I know it's going to be lose-lose for both countries. There's never going to be win-win, like in a situation like this. There is no so both sides going to lose, and both sides have to admit that they're going to lose, and they have to move forward, because that's the only way to stop this.
Tatiana, thank you for being here. Our hearts and thoughts go out to obviously yourself and the people that you know that are over there, and I know that I know your family does not want you to return, as you mentioned the last time that we were chatting. Something tells me at some point in time you want to go back, and I don't know if I'm right about that. If time's being right, would you go back?
I probably would go back, but I don't know for how long. And again, it's I have to think about my family first of all, because it was very difficult for them.
Thank you, Tatiana, and please come back and talk to us again. I hope that there are not too many more weeks of this, but however long it goes, please keep in touch with us and just reach out and think of us as people that want to help try to get out the truth when we can. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Have a great weekend, I hope. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
What a lady. I'm so glad that we found her. And I could chat with her for hours. The indiscriminate and seemingly untargeted attacks is what bothers me. Normally, if you're involved in, I mean, what has Ukraine got to hide? It's not like they were trying to become a nuclear power and take over the world. They were just trying to live in peace with all of their neighbors. So what can they possibly be? They're not hiding all sorts of nuclear chemicals or anything that I'm aware of that would. It just seems Putin's only thing is they don't want him to be in NATO. That seems to be the only tangible thing that I can wrap my head around, because Putin doesn't want a NATO member right next door. So, okay, I get that, but why this?
The images that I was sharing there were from Tatiana's Facebook feed, and a lot of those are coming from her friends and colleagues that are in Ukraine, and those just break my heart.
And those were not fake photos. Those were not CGI, because I had a chance to glance, when I was talking to Tatiana, I had a chance to glance at the images that you were putting up there. And these are from her. They are from her people that she knows and trusts over there. These are not, like, we see some pictures and they say, well, no, that was from the 1966 Israeli occupation of the West Bank. You know, these kinds of things.
I mean, look at this one, Lee.
Soccer ball, like, that's a very powerful. We're obviously in a school here or a gym.
Is there a kid's room, I think? I think maybe just a kid's room, or you're right.
With that many soccer balls laying around?
Okay, maybe a daycare.
I think it's a
like
school or a daycare or a gym or something. And look where the missile came through. By the way, to newscasters everywhere, it is not missile. It's missile. All right? The Russians are launching missiles, not missiles. Man,
It's crazy.
the English language makes me nuts. Anyway, Tatiana, brave lady. She had to come home. She was a principal of a school there, and it must absolutely, she said it breaks her heart, it must absolutely break her heart when she sees the bodies of children killed by the attacks on these indiscriminate places, schools, apartment buildings. Ah, my God.
I'll put this one up here, Lee. I hadn't heard this, and again, I mean, there's so much to cover when a war is ongoing like this, but 109 empty baby strollers were installed for the number of killed by Russian troops of Ukrainian children. I mean, here they are in a city square. This is their display, 109 empty strollers. It's absurd.
How do you hold your head up or rationalize anything, or even put your head down on a pillow at night if you have anything to do with this? How do people live with themselves, Kevin?
I don't know.
I mean, the world is full of. We talked about history earlier. Our history is full of them in all nationalities and all corners of the world that have committed atrocities on their fellow humans. I mean, it's nothing new.
I think we all wish somebody, some power would do something about it, but I don't know who that person is, and I also don't understand the ramifications. But I think everybody's like, why can't somebody stop it?
There was.
I don't know. I don't know what the magic bullet is. Lee, I want to let you know that Sandra is in our green room.
Okay.
So.
Okay, let's go.
Okay.
Hello, Sandra.
Hello? Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I tried to get on last week, but it was a little bit too long. So
Yeah, apologize. Apologize for that. Well, welcome to the show this week. What can we do for you?
thank you. I'm going to bring this way down from the war in Ukraine and Russia for sure. I'm bringing it way down from that. It's a thing that plays on a lot of people's minds for sure.
Fine
And then another issue is the Trudeau NDP thing. That's another issue again. as well, and I'm very
Hey,
passionate about that particular one.
Sandra, can I chat with
Yes,
you for a second? You're wobbling.
sure.
You're right in the center of the picture, right there. If you could hold steady right there, that'd be awesome because we're wobbling around here a little bit.
This is my first time doing this, so I'm very unfamiliar what
No,
to
no,
do
that's
here.
okay. No, you're doing great. I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know where you are. And right now, you're perfect. So, I'll turn it back to you. You tell me what's on your mind.
Okay, so anyway, what you were speaking about Ukraine and Russia is certainly a hot topic for every day, pretty much, and also the recent ones with the NDP and Liberal
Yeah.
coalition togetherness thing is another hot topic.
Yeah.
But I'm not here to talk about those. I'm here to talk about issues that I've had to deal with since moving here to Niagara Falls 9 years ago.
Okay.
I'm a social worker by profession. I just wanted to give you an idea of the kind of person I am, or who I am, because nobody knows who I am. But I am on my resume. The first 3 lines on my resume are in 2005. I was nominated for an Inspiring Lives Award.
I'm sorry, you were
Then
nominated for what?
an Inspiring Lives Award.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, from Nova Scotia. I'm from the East Coast.
Gotcha.
Then in 2009, I was nominated again for an Inspiring Lives Award again. So those are the 2 top ones on my resume,
Okay.
as well as a 2008 bursary from the Nova Scotia Association of Social Workers for my resiliency in study and my passion for issues related to poverty.
All right.
So those are just the 3 top things. There's a lot more. I can't get into all of it.
Okay.
But I did want to just I've got my 2 dogs here, but I just wanted to read the one from the Association of Social Workers. It's brief. It's not long. It's very
Yeah.
brief.
I'm trying to get a handle of what you're actually bringing up today.
Well, I'm bringing up my issues as well as other people's possible issues with getting gainful employment within the Niagara region.
Ah. Okay. That nails it. Thank you.
I've been volunteering since 2016.
Right.
I volunteered on the Client Advisory Committee in St. Catharines and mental health.
Okay.
And I left that committee last year because I was very disturbed. Within my social work realm of what I do, I was there 6 years, and I thought I was helping to fill in a gap, which is in the hospital / the gap, and then with people going home, they're not getting the help right away.
Okay.
So therefore, these people they're relapsing. So the government doesn't care because they're not filling this gap. Okay, and I was 6 years trying to fill this gap.
So read us. Sorry, I took you off. I took you offline there, but now let's come back to what you wanted to read us. Okay.
Okay, it's just the paper, and like the reason I want to read it is because people need to know who I am, and within this little blurb that you get an idea of the kind of person I am. So it says, "Dear Sandra, every year the Nova Scotia Association of Social Workers awards a bursary to the student in the BSW program at the School of Social Work, Dalhousie University. You have been selected as the recipient for the 2007-2008 academic year. We are delighted to award the bursary to an individual as involved, committed, and experienced as you. Your passion about issues related to poverty will serve you well as you enter the profession of social work. You have worked hard and overcome many barriers to become a social work student, and your determination to follow your dream is remarkable. We sense that you have already made a difference because of your energy and passion, and that you will continue to make a valuable contribution to the years to come. We look forward to welcoming you into the association as you begin your social work practice in the future." Now,
Okay.
what I want to say about that
Yes.
is I I got my social work degree on my own on welfare, raising three children alone. I
Right.
didn't, my BSW degree, I did not get any help from the government. I did it by myself because I had an undergrad degree, but they refused to help me any further. I
Okay.
was accepted at Dalhousie University and I had to do it myself. And I
Okay.
did it. And that's basically what that's
Okay.
saying.
So I think we have sufficiently established your qualifications and your credentials. If I can read between the lines here, your issue is the fact that since you came here to Niagara, you volunteered, etc. You're very highly qualified, and you are
Unemployed.
unemployed, and
Period.
that is your issue right now.
That is a main issue.
Okay.
Yes, this, yes, definitely.
Okay. And who have you reached out to here locally to try to change that situation, or let them know what your situation is?
Well, I've been on the mental health advisory committee. I
Okay.
live with a mental illness as well, so I
All right.
live with a that.
Are there specific jobs? Are there specific positions that you have applied for?
I've tried to get on several boards because when I was in Nova Scotia, I was on
Okay.
Niagara the Lakes Health Board. So I tried to get on boards here in the community. I don't want to name names, but you probably would know what names are of different boards in the community. And I've tried all those. I've even tried City Hall to get on an inclusive and diversity committee. I couldn't get on that. Like the doors have been shut in my face majorly, and I don't understand what's going on
Okay.
and why. And
Okay.
there's one job I applied for was just to listen during COVID. It was just a listening job. People can call into the number they give you, and all you had to do was listen on the phone and listen to people upset about the loneliness or whatever.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
couldn't even get that job. I couldn't even get that one, and that was the one that devastated me the most because I thought, like, this is way beyond, like, this is crazy. And it was like the consumer initiative group that put this on. And when I complained about it onto my client advisory committee, she ended up retiring. The lady did.
Okay.
So it's just to give you a general idea of like
Well,
what's
yeah,
going on
well,
here. Like
Thank you for bringing it to our attention. I would like to think that somebody is watching right now that knows more about this situation in these organizations than I do. I would be the last one to pass on any sort of advice to you in this, except to apply to everything that you can. I mean, that just seems like a no-brainer type thing. Yeah. So,
can I just share one more? One more.
Okay.
That had
Yeah.
to do with one in St. Catharines. It's one that's to do with homelessness because I was passionate about that as well.
Yeah.
And the person that I spoke to at this place, because I went right there directly to speak with the person, and he told me that I had to take a course on homelessness. And like, you don't know my whole story, but I have lived experience in homelessness, and I was just mortified to think, like, you want me to take a course on, and I'm a social worker, like, really? Like, what's going on? What's going really on?
Okay.
And it raises my eyebrows a lot, and it should raise other people's too.
Well,
as to who's getting into these
you've had a
posts.
chance to raise our eyebrows, and I'll be interested in seeing and/or hearing any of the feedback. Sandra, thanks for joining us today. I appreciate your story.
Okay.
I appreciate your story,
Yeah.
and I think that there are probably a number of frustrated people in our communities that can't find gainful employment in their chosen profession. So. Again, I don't know where to go with it from here, except to say hopefully somebody will step up and follow up on it.
Yeah, and there's more. Like, there's more to the story. Like, there's more about my life that I've gone through and stuff, and I've overcome so many barriers and things like that.
Well,
I could really help people.
Kudos to you for that, and I hope something breaks for you soon. And again, keep us posted on what's going on. Okay.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Glad we got you on.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Sandra. Bye.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
You are more than welcome.
Thanks.
Huh. Interesting conundrum wrapped up in an enigma there with Sandra's story. We've got a few minutes to go before we bring on Lauren Christie. Lauren is business development with the Canadian LGBT plus Chamber of Commerce. The topic we're going to be talking with Lauren about is becoming a rainbow registered business, which Gales Gas, our premier sponsor, became just a few short weeks ago, and it raised the flag, if you will, for us because we had not heard of this particular designation, and we wanted to find out more. So we'll be doing that in a few minutes. To Gales for fueling this program, thank you very much. To Performance Heating and Air, Carlo, thank you and your gang for continuing to support Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry, Virgin Insurance Group, Mark Shirk and Blake and the gang, thank you so much. Kevin, our executive producer and the creator from WeeStream. It's always a blast working with you. I want to give a quick tip of the Beau Chapeau hat. Beau Chapeau, Kevin Neufeld and your gang, by the way, Queen Street, St. Catharines. Always a pleasure to wear your headgear on this program. You're my faves. James, I'm just trying to throw out some really quick kudos here. James Simons, you may remember we've had James on the show a few times, and his main project here for charity for men who are in need in Niagara is called the Toolbox Initiative. And James threw something up on Facebook today saying that he is going to be officially recognized. Right there, April 13th, I am being recognized for my toolbox and my volunteering by the City of St. Catharines. I'm assuming, Kevin, that will be at some city council meeting or something like that.
I don't think it's a meeting of the whole. I don't think it's a council meeting, but it's probably one of the subcommittees.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but congratulations to James, friend of the show. And the guy just continues to give back and give back and give back to the community.
He's a relentless volunteer and community worker. And James, congratulations. A well-deserved recognition.
Now, Lee, we're going to get to Lauren here in a few minutes, but
okay.
I thought that maybe some of the Good Samaritan stories bookended well with what Sandra was talking about, and there were a number, including one to do with a homeless man out on 4th Ave.
Yeah. So we're going to sort of bunch our Good Samaritan stories together because a number of them come across Niagara 411 every week. And to Nick, by the way, for reading all these and posting the stories and giving kudos where they are deserved. Good for you. It's always a pleasure working with you every week in Niagara 411 as well. Nick's mom, I would be remiss if I didn't say hi to you. You're one of our staunchest supporters, so don't go away. You stay right there. Okay, so this is the one, 5 o'clock today, waiting for traffic light to turn left onto Louth from 4th Avenue. There was a gentleman standing in the median and the pouring rain holding a sign asking for money. He only had a blanket to keep him warm. I was behind a woman in a blue Ford Fiesta that rolled down her window to give him money. And then she gave him her umbrella. Such a beautiful gesture that gave me a little faith in humanity during rush hour when everyone just wants to get home. I hope she sees this post so that she knows that her sweet gesture didn't go unnoticed. Thank you for your kindness. And we know people will comment all the time about the folks that stand on the side of the road with signs and, are they really who they say they are, et cetera. But somebody just decided, hey, I'm going to come hell or high water, I'm going to give this person a boost regardless of the situation. So that's a nice one. There was also, this is the, this is the hit and run. Yeah. My car, which is literally my baby, A lot of people feel that way about their cars. Was hit while I was at a luncheon for my daughter. It was parked and someone reversed into my back end, leaving some significant damage. The lady then decided to just drive away. A man who witnessed the event ran into the shop, the wine shop, and I'm just trying to, it's a little small for me, at the Scott Street Plaza, grabbed a pencil, there we go, thanks Kev, and paper, and then wrote down all of the information in mud, the plate number. He wrote it in mud. Okay. I was in tears, not only because I left angry and overwhelmed, but also because a complete stranger took the time out of his day to do this for me and even called the police himself. I asked if he left a name and number, which he did not. I left my name and number in case he came back, but have not heard anything. Thank you for showing me that good people still exist. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to help a person you don't even know. Thank you for everything you did, because my car will be fine, and with just having it painted 2 years ago, that means more to me than you will ever know. I hope you read this. I've been buying people their coffee and tea that are behind me in line at Tim Hortons. Thanks so much. And you may remember at the very beginning of the program when I was down the street at the office. If you don't remember, you'll catch the opening. Kevin, did we get a decent shot of that quarter that was on the street?
I think we did okay.
I think we did okay?
It's still out there, I think, right? You didn't pick it up.
Well, I haven't been back there. Well, see, this is what I was going to do. I was going to pick it up, and then I realized, no, I'm going to leave the quarter there, because I remembered this story about how a quarter changed a woman's life this past week. Thank you so much to the kind lady who gave me a quarter for the shopping cart at Beamsville No Frills this morning. It was my first, and by the way, I didn't plant the quarter down there. It was really there down at the office. Honest to goodness, it was there. It was my first time shopping there, so I didn't know to bring a quarter. I must have looked troubled as I walked past the shopping carts and into the store with my 17-month-old baby in my arms. The lady who was entering the store behind me quickly took out a quarter from her purse, offered it to me. I am beyond grateful, because there was no way that I was going to be able to get any shopping done while hauling around my 12-kilogram toddler. I have extra quarters in my purse now in case I come across anyone else in need. My parents said they'd do the same. Thank you again for making our day. So, my initial thought was, as I was standing there in the office talking, I saw the quarter on the street. My initial thought was to pick it up. Well, now I have quarters in my car. I didn't really need the quarter. So I thought, no, I'm going to just leave the quarter there and relate it to this story that we're going to do, because that quarter might mean something to somebody today. Maybe it's there for a reason, and it wasn't for me to pick up. Our old friend Jimmy, by the way, was out on the street this morning too. That's another story I'd like to get to the bottom of at some point. He's a staple in St. Catharines and thought he was going back to the res, and that didn't happen, etc. Maybe the quarter is going to change his life. I don't know. But it doesn't have to be a lot of money. It can just be a gesture that makes a difference. And that was legit, Kev. I thought, you know what, I'm going to do this piece in the office, and everybody's going to think I'm just absolutely padding the monkey here, because I put the quarter down on the street to make a point. I did not. It was not my quarter. I'm not that free with my money.
I didn't know what you wanted me. You're like, hey, take a look at this. Get a good look at this.
I know. It was a
gum on the bottom of your shoe.
It was a total surprise to you. I know, and I'm sorry about that, but I had to give it a shot.
No, absolutely. Lee, I think both of you and I were not really surprised. We just never heard when Gales became a rainbow registered business, and I think both you and I saw this post, and that leads into our next interview.
Yeah. So is Lauren with us? Okay, Lauren Christie, ladies and gentlemen, is business development for the Canadian LGBT plus Chamber of Commerce, and we're here to talk about an initiative called Becoming a Rainbow Registered Business. So, boy, I have a lot of questions, Lauren, I could ask you today. First of all, are we coming through loud and clear? Have we got you?
Loud and clear. I could totally hear you. Thank you for having us.
Okay, hey, thank you. Where are you located, by the way?
I'm in Toronto.
Okay. Now, our title sponsor is Gales Gas Bars Limited here in Niagara. They have been a Niagara-based family business for well over 50 years now, and they do so much for our community behind the scenes, as well as the fact that they are Ontario's only living wage employer in the province of Ontario in their field, which is petroleum. And then after that comes out the fact that they are a rainbow registered business that they put up not long ago, and that came as something to Kevin and I and others that I'm sure is a very, very new concept. So then we tracked you down with the LGBT plus Chamber of Commerce to try to kind of get to the bottom of this and shine a light on what it is that your organization does, what it means to be a so registered business, and what it's all about. So, with that long preamble, I apologize, but what is the LGBT plus Chamber of Commerce?
Well, it is like any other chamber of commerce, except for our members are members of the lesbian, bisexual, gay, trans, and plus, which means two-spirited, queer, intersex, and we could go into a very long acronym, but we use plus in the chamber. But we encourage business to business and business growth for members of the LGBT plus community. But in this particular instance, and we have a number of different programs that help that, a youth mentorship program, a supplier diversity program, but the particular program that you're talking about that Gales is part of, which was just launched less than a year ago, is called Rainbow Registered. And it's an accreditation program that allows businesses to show that they offer a safe and inclusive space, either for LGBT plus customers, but also for their employees. So it's just an accreditation that we've developed. We developed about over COVID, over the last 2 years, in conjunction with Tourism HR Canada and the federal government and a couple of outside suppliers and consultants, to create the first national standard for LGBT plus safe space accreditation. So we're really excited about it, and a lot of businesses across Canada are starting to take notice, and we can feel the momentum growing. And the idea is that people across Canada, if you're an LGBT plus person, and whether you're going to work for a business, be a customer in a business, whatever the case may be a guest, if it's a hotel or anything like that, will be able to see that accreditation and know that it is a safe space and that they've hit a certain standard to get that way.
That's an amazing initiative, because in that world, I guess, in the society in which we live, I suppose on any given day, at any given moment, if you're an employee or a customer of any given business, you could face some awkward situations. And this kind of initiative sort of mitigates that to some degree, does it not?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think it mitigates it in that business or organization that has received that accreditation, as I said, has hit a certain standard. I think it's important to know that diversity, inclusion, equity, this is evolving. It's always evolving, and it's never the accreditation is not designed to be a tick box that you're in or you're out, but it shows that you're engaged, and it shows you've hit a certain level of standard. But there's always work to do, and nobody's ever perfect. But I think it really shows a level of acceptance, and that they're willing to do the work and wanting to be part of that journey towards diversity and inclusion. So it's a really important mark to recognize that it is a welcoming space. There may always still be work to do, but that's okay. At least it's welcoming and inclusive, and the intent is there.
What is involved in the process of acquiring this accreditation, Lauren?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy. You just go visit our website, rainbowregistered.ca, or you can go through the chamber website of cglcc.ca, and you can just go on, register, you pay a small fee for a small business. It's $299 for the year to go through it. Mm-hmm. An assessor will then contact you, and they'll walk you through the process. And essentially, you deal with one of our assessors, and you talk about your business on 4 different pillars. One is policies and practices. One is trainings that you may have gone or are planning to go through. One is a commitment to inclusive leadership, which not only means internally in terms of your executive team, but it also means as a community player, which I think, as you said, Gales is very good at. They're showing initiative in the community and getting out there and showing that commitment to leadership as an organization in the community. And then a culture of inclusivity, which is a very broad range of things that include very major things, but it can include very simple, easy things like, do you have a gender-neutral washroom at your establishment or something along those lines?
Oh, okay, right, yeah,
You look at four sort of areas, and I do think it's important that, big businesses, a lot of them do have, HR policies that are written out, but that's why we call that category policies and practices, because even small businesses of 2, 3, 4 people, they can put things in practice that they may not, as a business, have the time to write down into an official policy, but that's okay. The practices are just as important as the official policies.
Now, we have heard a lot over the last while, years, whatever, about the how people want to be referred to in an inclusive community, be the
pronouns,
the they, the we, the whole pronoun thing. Yep. Is this now a company like Gales, for example, that employs hundreds of people in Niagara at all different levels, both in management, supervisory roles, frontline workers, etc., convenience stores, gas bars? It's a rather diverse business model that exists here for them, and I'm just using them as an example because it's how this whole thing evolved. Does the chamber provide some sort of template for like employee training on some of these things? Because for employees of some of these companies, it would come as somewhat foreign to them.
100%, and again, it's all part of the journey. So part of getting the accreditation, there is a whole section on training. So either they may have taken some training, and I don't know the specifics of Gale specifically, but they may have taken some training or plan to do some training. I do believe that at some point, to get the tick boxes under that thing, there has to be some training that's undertaken.
Sure.
So absolutely, but it is ongoing. Now, the chamber, yes, we do offer various types of training that you can do through us, but it's not prescriptive. You don't have to take our training in order to get accredited, as long as you've taken some sort of diversity training. LGBT specific certainly helps, and again, you get different check boxes depending on what level you've done. So we do. You do need to take training. It does need to happen. We can provide it if you want, but it doesn't have to be our training for you to get accredited. You can take it from other organizations as well.
Lauren, let's say I run a business and have done for years, and I am a member of my local Chamber of Commerce or the Ontario Chamber of Commerce, as a lot of businesses are. Whether you agree with everything chambers of commerce do or not, most businesses find some value, even if it's only the networking value, for belonging to a chamber of commerce, especially if you're a small business. Now, why would it make? I have a two-part question. Why would it be a good idea, if I fall into the category that you described, for me to be a member of your chamber? Part one. Part two, should I be a member of both chambers or pick one? Do you understand what I'm kind of asking here? Because we've got we've got kind of a melting pot of businesses here.
Yeah, I'll answer the question and see, and if I don't answer it right, then you'll know that I didn't understand it right. But
that would be my fault. That would be my fault.
As far as our Chamber of Commerce, anybody can be a member, and if you are Rainbow registered, you automatically become a member. FYI, It's another benefit of the program.
Okay.
And much like you described the Chamber, it is for networking, for professional development sessions and whatnot. And we're a little bit of a mix in that we provide professional development for LGBT plus businesses, but we also provide networking and professional development for businesses who want to learn how to interact better with LGBT plus customers. It's kind of both.
Right, okay.
So in my opinion, absolutely, you certainly don't need to pick between two chambers. As you rightly said, a big part of it, a baseline of it, is networking and best practices sharing. And some of the things you're going to learn through our chamber might not necessarily be the things that are put on by your local Chamber of Commerce. They have a different agenda. So absolutely be part of both, and you get the learning from both chambers.
Do you have just the one chamber right now in Ontario, or are there branch chambers in communities like Niagara or like Hamilton or whatever?
Well, our chamber is actually a national chamber, so we stand alone as a national chamber across Canada. But there are regional chambers that operate on their own. We are not; they are not affiliated with us officially, although we certainly have a working relationship with them. So there are smaller regional chambers for sure. And I don't know about in the Niagara area, but in Ontario there certainly is.
Okay.
But they don't report to us or are an arm of us. We just have a working relationship with them.
Help me with the definition before we let you go. You have mentioned a couple of times in our conversation an LGBT plus business. How do you define an LGBT plus business?
Well, there's a bunch of different ways to define it, but if you were actually to be part of our supplier diversity program, which we have, it has to be 51% owned and operated by someone who is part of the LGBT plus community.
Okay.
So that's the easiest way to do it. But I mean, the LGBT plus community is everywhere. We touch all bases. I'm going to get the stat wrong, but I think it's something like there are 400,000 LGBT plus employees in companies across the country. So when you think about that, they're an employee, a boss, and certainly the opportunity for customers and guests, LGBT plus, whether it's owned or operated, certainly there's an area there for allies to take part in what we offer as a chamber as well. So,
all right, that kind of wraps it up in a bow. That was the main thing I wanted to get to at the end, because it became something of a definition now. But the other thing was the fact that you do not have to. If I'm reading what you said earlier correctly, and if I'm not, just slap me. But is the fact that you do not have to necessarily be an LGBT plus business to apply for accreditation. Am I correct or incorrect?
Absolutely correct. You do not need to be. You can be an ally to the LGBT plus community. And the idea is that you're being welcoming to your customers, being welcoming if you have employees that identify. Absolutely anybody can apply for it, but they just have to hit those standards in order to receive the accreditation.
I think my work here is done. Lauren, thank you very much. Lauren Christie, ladies and gentlemen, Business Development for Canadian LGBT plus Chamber of Commerce, and becoming a Rainbow registered business. Check him out. Fascinating conversation, Lauren. Congratulations on the work you do. And I think we're getting to be in a good place in our society in a lot of ways, and we appreciate your part in that. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for recognizing Gales.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, Kevin. Interesting conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, there. I'm just throwing it up there. You see right there on their Facebook page, Canada's LGBT plus Chamber of Commerce. All the information's there. It is a very small fee. I'm looking into it for WeeStream as an ally.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I would love to fly that flag.
Yeah, well, especially when you consider the diverse number of people that you come in contact and the kind of events that you do. I mean, wow, it's huge. Now,
I was just talking the other day, Lee, about how much I enjoy working when Patrick Alexander hosts the show, and he is flamboyantly part of the community.
No question.
And without hesitation, the words flew out. I love that guy.
I do too.
Yeah, love that guy.
I do too. Creative, intelligent, gives back a lot. Stand-up comic, teacher, does all kinds of stuff, and makes absolutely no secret about his orientation whatsoever. And that I find totally refreshing.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things I want to mention really, really quickly is Niagara is losing one of its true supporters of process and business and health management here for many years. Kevin Smith, the head of the Niagara EMS, is Emergency Medical Services, is leaving Niagara for another opportunity. I do believe he is headed to British Columbia to benefit communities out there. And And of course, the EMS organization here in Niagara will continue on, and I'm sure his replacement will do a fine job. But a big loss for Niagara. Kevin has done incredible work over the last 9 years. He'll be greatly missed. I'm sure he can add some incredible knowledge to the BC EMS family. Niagara EMS Chief Kevin Smith to leave the Niagara region. I've had occasion to chat with Kevin numerous times in a previous life on in talk radio, etc., and he, under great pressure and stress from politicians and workers and community and all kinds of stuff, he is sort of the man in the middle in a lot of cases, has done an exemplary job and has always treated his work and treated us over the years in the media with great deference and cooperation. So Kevin will miss you, and thank you for everything that you've done for us. You leave the organization better than you found it, and I don't know that can be said better than anything else. That's all anybody can expect when they move on, is to leave it better than they found it, and you certainly have. So Kevin Smith, we're going to miss you, and I'm sure we await with bated breath how that organization is going to evolve, but I'm sure it will be just fine. I think Kevin left it in pretty good shape. So
now, Lee, just a couple minutes left in the program here, and I'm digging up a music video from Gin the Band, as recommended by local Louie, so I'm trying to pull that up. But speaking of things that you don't want to miss, tonight we got a St. Catharines family back on Family Feud.
Yeah, this is so cool. You might remember we had a family on from Niagara-on-the-Lake, months and months and months ago, that participated in the Family Feud. Well, this local St. Catharines family is tackling their second appearance on Family Feud Canada. And that says tomorrow night, but that's actually tonight, right? 7:30? On CBC or CBC Gem, it's the Taylors. And what an attractive family. They look like they are loaded for bear here, all with the poses and everything. They're ready to go for competition numero 2 on Family Feud Canada coming up tonight. So be ready to watch. And it's just on regular, you don't need any fancy schmancy tools, just their regular CBC show. I want to thank Lauren Christie again for being here, business development guy from LGBT plus Chamber of Commerce, for a very enlightening conversation. Samantha, who joined us to shine a light on how hard it is for somebody with great credentials, is having a hard time getting employment in the social services sector in Niagara. Not exactly sure the background, but that was what she was concerned about, having moved here from the East Coast a while ago. James Simons, I want to mention to you again, he was recognized, or will be recognized, at a St. Catharines committee meeting for his work with the Toolbox Initiative, which is the one that provides needy males in the Niagara region with Christmas care packages and things of that nature. The Toolbox campaign grows every year, so congratulations, James, on that. And also to Tatiana, who joined us. And on behalf of everybody in the Ukrainian community, thank you for joining us. And again, our hearts go out to all people in that community, and what we see and what we hear about happening in that part of the world is truly disturbing. And we want to ensure the fact that, again, as Tatiana said, please, 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 try to discern the wheat from the chaff, as my father used to say, or fact from fiction. And a lot of places where you can find that fact is if you follow Tatiana, she has a Facebook page where she posts a lot of the images that Kevin posted on our program today. She is getting these visions and getting these comments and positions and happenings from people that she knows and worked with as a school principal in Ukraine. So These, you can be assured, are legitimate pieces of information that come through Tatiana. And if you want to reach out to her, if you want to follow her on Facebook, even ask her a question about where do I go to find the right information, by all means do it, because we find every single week horrible examples of misrepresentation on all of our social media platforms. The one that I mentioned earlier in the program, which I just thought was so cruel to people that might have had someone on that Chinese Boeing 737 airliner that went down and killed 132 people, and the video that was put up on social media was nothing more than a computer-generated flight simulator video of what was supposed to be the last moments of the plane. That is cruel, that is awful, and it was wrong on so many different levels. So please, make sure before you pass things on, whether it's an email, I know people don't use email that much anymore, but email, Instagram, Facebook, I don't care, Twitter, whatever it is, don't just hit click and send and forward. Don't do that, please don't do that. I've had so many times, Kevin, where I've received something and then I have to go back to the people that sent it and all the people they sent it to and said, hey, this is wrong. This is wrong, people. This didn't happen. It's
Yeah, sometimes we have to use our own filters. You know,
it angers me.
The number of times I read things on social media and immediately go, well, that doesn't sound right.
Yeah.
And do a little bit of research. 9 out of 10 times,
we've almost been caught a couple of times on this program. We saw very early in the Ukraine-Russian conflict. Kevin and I came pretty close to being caught by a video game.
Yeah, somebody. And then the following week we talked about the music video by that couple down in Florida.
That was supposed to be Zelensky and his wife.
44 million views and all
totally
these comments.
Ridiculous.
God bless Ukraine, and one out of every 10 is that's not him.
And I got an email from a guy that very afternoon. Kevin sent out to like 20 people, said, "Oh, how wonderful is this?"
And it was that video?
Yes.
It's crazy.
And I had to go back. I had to go back and say, "This is wrong, people."
And I'll tell you, Lee, the first time that somebody showed it to me, I looked at it right away and said, "Nah, that doesn't seem right."
Yeah.
You mean to tell me that this guy is an actor, a heroic president, caught in the middle of a war, but he also sings like that?
He sounds more like Lionel Richie than Lionel Richie does.
Did a little bit of research, and lo and behold, that's not him.
Well, Kevin, that's why you're good at what you do.
Musically, Lee.
Do we have Gin?
Sorry, Louis, I was unable to find any music videos for Gin. There's some audio up there, but just with a still image. I like playing the videos. So,
all right, who we got?
We're going to feature some My Son the Hurricane. They put together a little compilation video of a performance they did live at the Phoenix in December.
Okay.
Live music, and stitch it all together. So I'm not sure if this is one song beginning to the end, but it's their concert experience at the Phoenix, and their incredible live band right here from St. Catharines.
Again, thank you to Gales Gas Bars for fueling this program. Performance, Heating and Air. Carlo, always a pleasure. Verge Insurance Group. Mark, thank you for supporting us. WeeStream, Kevin and Brendan Scram for powering the program. Kevin is executive producer. As always, it's a pleasure. My name is Lee Sterry. We'll be back with episode 13 next week. And now I present to play us off the proverbial stage, My Son the Hurricane. Have a good one.
Situation, I'll probably stop. Feel that cold front coming. Iron is red hot, hammer in hand, but understand it might get dropped. Stop, like a snake with its head off. A rise, shine, and climb as soon as you get up. Now I ain't trying to pitch your vibe, repeat this. Don't mistake my kindness for weakness. I'm kinda tired of all those meaningless speeches. Let's see these people that you As long as I can carry on, I can keep my head on high. 1,000 voices join with me, listening to the angels cry.
I feel the cold front coming, better throw on the hood. But in better weather, better shout, oh goody goody. Get a sweater for the better route, maybe you should do it so you never ever have to worry about cooking. And there's a cold front coming, but we're gonna get through it. Do what we gotta do, man, we gonna get to it. Do it, just like the blackbirds. Knew it, beautiful disaster. Keep on moving, hold on tight. Know where you stand between wrong and right. Know when you gotta stand up and fight. Now you know when it's time to go to sleep for the night. Straight up holding your hate for ransom. Somewhat funny, talk dark and handsome. Side by side we rock in tandem. Get that money, yeah, that and then some. The day is long, stay strong.
As long as I can